Holy moly, it's Investor Roundtable time with the gang from Equity.Guru. I am Rob Simpson. I've got Chris Perry in the penthouse with me these days. It's nice up here, isn't it? How about these guys paying rent down below? That's Vishal Vatura down there in the far corner. It's a little dark in his apartment. And Reza Golzadeh is sitting downstairs below me, and he's probably playing way too much for his area, but that's okay.
Should have put the new guy in the penthouse.
Get what we can. Yeah, I know, Perry. And he's the man, Chris Perry, he's not only the man, but he's the man who's going to lead off talking about North Vancouver-based Falcon Gold, which is FG.V on the Venture Exchange.
Falcon Gold is a company we've been talking about for a while. When we first started talking about them, I believe it was like early 2020. The stock was about 4.5 cents. Since then, it went on a bit of a run, as companies tend to do when they have an Equity.Guru marketing package.
Hey.
But when you go from 3.5 cents to 25, you're going to get some profit taking unless you can really accelerate news. And so the company had some drop off from there. It's found a base around 10.5 cents, which puts them at an $11 million market cap. Congratulations if you were one of our lucky readers that understood what we were saying when they were 4.5 cents and managed to get out at that 25 return. That's a good, hefty dose of cash that you get free of charge. You owe me a six-pack. So now we've got a deal where this is being traded. It goes up for 2 days, it goes down for 2 days, up again, down again. One person who's not trading it is the guy who's in the box seat, the CEO, Karim Rayani. Karim, if I was to describe Karim as a character, he's an artful dodger. He's a chancer from among the best of them. He's put together deals. Gets money for deals. He's a guy that bounces around the street. He's an ever-present down at Cactus Club. He does deals. He buys stuff. He sells stuff. You want to buy a Corona from 1973? I've got one in lime green. It'll fit you like a glove. That said, Falcon Gold was his attempt to lay down a legacy. Guys get married, guys have kids. Suddenly they're going back and forth trying to do deals for a couple of bucks is less attractive than just building your own company and trying to make it something substantial that your kids can go to school on. So here comes Falcon Gold. He goes and grabs a bunch of property, all scattered around some big plays that are making big deals that, you would think that as they grow, will come knocking on Karim's door and say, we'd like a little bit of that, please. Thank you very much. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's the way it goes in micro cap exploration. And this is definitely a micro cap. That said, over the last year, Karim has built this thing. He's acquired more properties. He's got more stuff going on. He's got more people clearly buying and selling the stock. There is a base, I won't say of support, but there is a 10 to 12 cent range where this thing trades. And if you wanted to, and you were that way inclined, you could probably make a bit of cash just buying and selling it for a bit, doing the Karim thing with his own stock. I will say that while people have been selling, he's the one that's been buying. He has accrued enough of this company that he now has to start thinking about reporting when he buys more. So that's a big deal, big vote of confidence. He's clearly not going anywhere. I will say that one of the things that concerns me a little bit is that he's now got a new deal, Marvel Gold, which is very similar in nature to what he's got with Falcon, a little bit more scattered around in terms of what it's exploring for. Falcon is very much gold focused. So you might wonder if his attention is divided between those two companies. You generally like to think that a CEO is all his time, all day, every day is in the one deal. The reality of House Street, that just doesn't happen so much. Everyone's got something else they're on the board of, another deal they're putting together, another deal they're on an advisory board for. So I don't have any problem at all with Karim running both Falcon and Marvel. Seems to be doing a good job of building this thing up from scratch. That said, there will be people who will assume the worst. And recently, Falcon and Marvel had a little deal going where a property was going to be flipped, and that deal decided not to go ahead. So, there's some confusion. Any chance that micro-cap investors get to sour on a deal, they will happily take. And so I think maybe Marvel has been fighting the tides because of that. What it really needs is something to progress forward aggressively. And then I think you'll see this thing back around 25 cents. The fact that 10% of the share base is never going to be sold is a good thing. They did do a warrant speed up exercise recently to get more cash in. But the downside of that is they're offering more shares per warrant than they had previously. So might have a little bit of future selling to worry about if this thing does move. I don't think there's a ceiling on it necessarily, but for $11 million market cap, if one of their several properties gets some interest from a bigger player, this thing blows up.
I want to move over to the new guy, and that would be Reza in this case, because CP has talked a lot right there about leadership, management, and everything that comes with it in this case. What are you kind of looking at?
Yeah, I would agree with the fact that it's a big deal how, first of all, Karim Riani did mention in a bunch of interviews how the Newfoundland package that they got was a pretty good one, given the fact that you're not going to get a lot of that land. Other exploration companies can't come in and get that now because there's less of it. And for 60 grand to get that Newfoundland package, the Pope Brook area was one of the ones that I was looking into. There's big companies there that are not $10 million market cap, but even more, like First Mining and Matador and companies like that. So if they start finding something in that area again, results are even better than before. Same thing with these guys. A lot of companies are going towards Newfoundland. There's a lot of attention there. And these guys, like Karim, managed to get a good deal, in my opinion. So he is that kind of guy to get deals, I guess. I mean, I haven't spoken to him, but Chris, I think, knows him quite well. So I totally agree in the sense that the behavior of the company going towards something like that, trying to get a good deal again, is pretty neat. And the price, the stock price as well, I took a look at it as well, did a bit of a shawl stuff on that. I did see that there was some buying from Karim himself as well, at I think about 9 cents. For me as well, I looked at the price and I think that, from 4 cents to 2021 or something it was, I think it was pretty good. Now it's still in a good position as well. If I would want to step in with 7 to 9 cents would be my range. All in all, it does seem like, okay, $10 million market cap, 10 projects on your hand. It may be a bit too much, but still, I guess, the areas that they are exploring are areas that are stable for mining companies to come in anyways. It's not like they're going in other places where it's politically sensitive or something like that. So again, it's not too solid, but it's not too bad. There's potential. Going towards Newfoundland property is pretty good. That I think is one of the best things that they can capitalize on. I mean, we know the industry, precious metal industry is going to be growing 9% in terms of revenue for the next, I think, to 2027. And these guys, and the property that they got, no net smelter return on the Newfoundland property. It's not bad.
They're in a friendly spot.
Again, yeah. So that's my 2 cents on these guys.
Michelle, Reza's creeping into your chart range here a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, he's my Padawan, I guess. We've looked at charts together, so I was gonna mention that. Reza, you probably saw this. We had just some market structure thing, I guess, with me and Reza, but we had the uptrend, we had the downtrend, and it looks like we've been ranging here, below 12.5 cents here, down to 8 cents. And generally, what happens, when you see a range, especially after a downtrend, it looks good, for an uptrend, right? A new uptrend. So technically, it's actually quite exciting. We are ranging here now. We just got to wait for that break. It's good to know that the CEO is, buying shares, and historical data. You have these really good volume, always beating the average daily volume, 6-figure, 300,000, 200,000 shares, which is, in my opinion, pretty good. But we'll take a look at that. There was 1 million shares actually traded on September 3rd. That was a Friday, just a couple of weeks back. So you like to see that, the volume increase. There are people buying. I like to look at these guys, I guess, as like a mineral bank. We've used that term before in previous shows, but when gold and silver or any mining prices, metal prices are suppressed, good management or someone that sees the bigger picture and is aiming, for the long term, will move in and pick up these cheap properties at really good prices, basically hoping to flip them once the cycle turns, right? So I like that, the whole idea of the mineral bank and, 11 million market cap. Chris did mention that there are some names, that are nearby. I mentioned here Montoro Resources, and also I Am Gold is a name thrown out here as well. So there is some interest. And I'm sure, if you look at the land packages, they are near past producing mines or close to other properties where drilling has been done. So the discovery could extend to their veins, and then that's when you're talking, either a buyout or maybe just some sort of joint venture. So news-wise, I think the catalyst will be good if you believe in gold and silver and copper. If you bullish those, those three metals, then I think the stock will get a rip on that as well. But technically, very exciting. We are just going to wait for that 12.5 cents break here. But again, just market structure, downtrend range, and we should expect to see that uptrend. So I wouldn't be surprised in a few weeks' time this actually breaks out.
Well, that's enticing.
Yeah. Or it can just range.
Let's go quickly around the horn then. And we often use on Investor Roundtable my $5,000 cash mark. And I say, here, take my cash, do something with it. For this company at 11 cents, for $5,000, we can get 45,000 shares. 45,000 shares, Chris Perry, for $5,000. What are you doing? You're on mute.
Sorry.
Now you're back.
If I'm looking at the last 4 months of trading on this thing, I think at 11 cents, I don't do anything. I wait for it to drop to 9 cents, and then I buy it again as it marches up to 12 cents 3 days later, and then I sell it as it drops to 9 cents 2 days later. This thing looks like a heart attack monitor right now.
Chris is going to play the range.
Yeah, it's it happens almost on the reg. At the beginning of the month, it goes on a big jump. At the end of the month, it starts to drop off. I would say maybe someone's getting some dividend checks at the end of every month and putting them towards Falcon. That would be my guess. But look, anytime you see regularity in a stock chart, some people see that as a guideline of when to get in and when to get out. I see that as evidence that someone is taking a position. And I don't really care about whether I'm getting in at 9 cents or 10 cents or 11 cents. I know other people do, but if I'm buying into this stock, I'm going in anywhere at that range because I expect it to eventually get to 30 or 40 cents. So the 9 or the 10 or the 11 doesn't really make any difference. Now, if it's 2 cents, that's a different story. There's a big percentage difference between 1 cent and 2 cent. But I'm not going to get hung up on the entry point here. I'd probably take a small position and watch. If you do see a longer term trend, if I'm looking at that at the last 6 months, I see it moving from about 7.5 cents to 11 cents as an average. That's a nice indicator that things are moving in the right direction. But I'm not a trader. Like, I think trading is like playing roulette. Eventually it catches up to you. So as an investment, I think that there's a lot to like here. I don't see it being one of those things where one day we're going to wake up and find that they've lost 10 properties. I feel like it's much more likely we wake up one day to find that they've flipped 2 of them and they've got a nice bit of money in the bank to go and buy 5 more. If you do look at the deals that they've done for properties and you get into the fine print, they usually only throw on 30K of stock to get one of these things, right? So that tells you, one, they're early stage. The upside is going to be that all of a sudden someone nearby decides they really want it, or longer term, some work gets done on some of those properties and puts them into a higher tax bracket. I don't see from the bulletins that there's a whole lot of work being done on the properties. I do see a lot of buying and selling. So for me, that's what I'm betting on. Does Karen Mariani continue doing the flipping thing, earn enough money to get this from 11 cents to 15 to 20? Or am I going to wait for him to put together enough cash to do a drill program of subsequence that gets it to 20 or 25? Probably the former in the short term. But you never know when one of these, properties that's on the border of Great Bear, which has gone on a big tear, decides, what the hell, this little $11 million company, if we offer 20 and take them out, we get all that property we want to do whatever we want with, That's really, I think, what this play is. You're investing in somebody who every day gets up and thinks, can I put some tape around a bit of moose pasture that has a mansion built next door? And it's not a bad strategy so far.
Reza, are you day trading my $5,000, or are you not spending it at all, or are you going long term?
Swing trade. Yeah, not day trade, but swing trade, because I again do agree with Chris here as well. For me, it would be that 8 cents, 7 cents being support, like 8, 9 as well, being that if it goes to 20 cents, that's double your money. That's what I'm looking for, because it's already touched that 20-cent ceiling before as well. And I do think it'll happen again with another cycle, another bullish cycle coming through. So I am expecting that, but only if it's going to be in that 9 to 10 cents zone is where I would put $5,000 to be able to double it. And I do see that going into an upward trend as well, to be honest. Again, the latest property kind of seems a bit interesting if other companies around them are getting attention, and the only thing you need to move the market really is people buying stocks. Like, you could be the best company and no one still knows about it or doesn't buy your stock. No one's going to invest off that much, are they? Unless they get the attention. I think that they will eventually strike gold, literally. And yeah, I would actually spend the $5,000, even though I'm not into exploration or mining that much.
Went all in.
Oh, all right, Michelle, you're kind of, what are you doing here? You going to split the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I would, again, I approach this sort of in a technical mindset, I guess. I think the catalyst could just be a rising gold price, which could maybe trigger that 12.5 cent breakout here on Falcon Gold. Again, just technically range, there's 2 ways to play it. You can either just play the range and add positions, and generally a range will break out at some point. Needs a catalyst, of course, to do so, but it does showcase that there's some accumulation there. Or you wait for the breakout, right? Which in this case, in my opinion, would be above the 12.5 cents zone here, which we tried to break out 3 times going back to July. So it's looking good. I gotta admit, like, just on a technical basis, it does look good. If you do want to swing trade this, you could make some money, but if you are bullish gold long-term as well, right? That swing trade could become a longer-term hold because this could eventually even take out previous highs, well, not previous highs, but this 25 cent recent high zone if gold continues there. So it's a very, I gotta admit, it's a very interesting and enticing area of entry here.
So what are you spending, bud?
Let's
get down to the brass tacks here. What are you talking about? What are you doing? You're down there in the basement now. You've lost your marbles. You're in the corner there.
Yeah.
How much are you spending?
I would put in $1,000 right now and then wait for that breakout. That's just me. And again, I say this because I actually do have quite a lot of gold and silver allocations well in my portfolio. But if you don't, then I think, you can maybe up that and play that breakout, but it would maybe be a better swing trade just with that breakdown there, or that breakout, sorry, not breakdown, breakout.
All right, there you have it. It's Falcon Gold, and Falcon Gold is FG.V on the Venture Exchange. You've just heard it from Chris, Vishal, and Reza. And we caution you that you must do your own research, your own homework. This is just a little bit of information for you to move forward. You're responsible for your own investment decisions. We'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investment Roundtable.